Hello, I'm Marc, the host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and this is a special series during this COVID crisis where we'll be sharing the learnings, best practices, and failures and successes of all the channel leaders throughout the tech industry. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. Hello, Peter. Thanks for joining me on the show today. You got recommended, actually. Maybe you're a bit of a star of our industry because there's 2 or 3 people said we've got to get Peter Stroud on the Channel podcast show. Yeah, so I don't know if you're paying these people, Peter, or what, but 3 people have mentioned it in the last week. So thank you for coming on. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe they want to see me fail. I don't know. I've been in the industry too long, I think, probably what it is. So no more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming on. Obviously, generally, how are you coping with the crisis anyway? How's your firm doing?
It's been fine. We've been very, very lucky. I think it's more luck than judgment, this one, because we deal within our main 2 verticals are finance with banking, that's in the city, but also in Malta in the iGaming industry. So your online casinos, all these sort of things, and the platform providers for. And neither of those industries have been hit. So this is about the clients, I think. So if you've got those sort of clients, we're very lucky. They're not slowing down. They're thinking, the online gaming industry, they thought they'd have a big bounce from this. They haven't. It stayed about level. It hasn't dropped. If you're a retail clothing firm, it's dropped. But these industries haven't. The banking hasn't either. And so we've been just marching on. Initially, 4 or 5 weeks ago, when everyone said it was going to fall off a cliff, we thought it was going to fall off the cliff. And for a week or 2, it fell off the cliff. Nothing was happening. But this was just when people were getting ready, moving home, working from home, setting all that up. And then, bang, on it comes again. So we've been very, very fortunate.
Yeah, just regarding that iGaming market, have they seen a spike in that because people are at home and they're playing roulette or blackjack or whatever they're doing more? Or I would have thought they'd just seen a downturn because the sports weren't on to bet on.
Right, the sports book side of the industry, so your William Hills, 365, where you see, where you're betting on football scores, etc., that's died a death, really died a death. There's virtual markets for it, but I was really interested in watching virtual horse races, although the Grand National one was interesting to watch. But the online casinos and things, they've held their own. They haven't gone down, haven't gone up. So more people can bet because they haven't got their bosses at work looking at them having a bet, but there's less money and people are more sceptical about what they could do with their money. So we saw the results yesterday and they were pretty flat, which is brilliant. Flat's great in these conditions. So they haven't gone up, haven't gone down. But you look at the likes of William Hill, their share price went from 200 down to 38 in this period. It's gone back up to 70 odd now. But that's a massive drop, a huge drop. So when you're losing, 80% of your number, and then it bounced up a little bit, but the sports betting has died a death. So if you're then, a Jennings on the high street stuff, what are you going to do? Really tough. But there's still lots of people out there who are betting. I'm not one of them, fortunately, but so that's held its own, and banking clearly has held its own.
Okay, great. One of the subjects I really wanted to bring up with you is about onboarding. So, and what I mean by that is, yes, people are onboarding staff at the moment, but there's a difference between onboarding staff and onboarding them effectively. So what are you seeing? Yeah, so what are you seeing in terms of people trying to onboard staff, even before this crisis, to be fair? It doesn't really matter if they were doing it virtually or not, but actually onboarding in general in the channel, or end users.
Onboarding in the channel, or just, I'll go anything with IT here. So the channel, it's all about getting the right staff. So you spend all your time and effort recruiting. Yeah, actually, when they turn up, it's a shocking entrance. So you go home and you say to your wife or you say to your husband, you say, God, what did you do today? Nothing. Oh, really? Yeah, I went to Costa for 2 hours because I had nothing to do. The person at HR walked me around the building for a bit, and then they said, go home early. And the thing we're seeing, and we get this ever such a lot, just as a partner, as a reseller, where clients will phone up and say, we've got 3 new members of staff today we knew nothing about. This is the service desk. And so we've got no laptops. Can you get us a laptop over? But then to make it even worse, so it's a really poor entrance. So if no processes, it's that recruitment. I've got the right person, I've got the right woman. What do I do when they turn up? I'm going to make myself look stupid. I make myself look mad. Yeah. But to make it even worse, and this is really dangerous, especially in certain markets, the IT department said, "There you go. You've got 2 new people sitting at reception. Can you get a laptop?" They rustle around. They find a laptop. What do? They give them rights, access rights to everything, because it's easy. Yeah. You give it to them, it works because they've got access rights to the lot. And then, poor Will, big sigh of relief, fantastic, got it all sorted. And everyone says a little email, "Well done, Joe, you've done a good job there on the service desk, you've got it sorted." And it's only 2 in the afternoon, or it's only Tuesday morning. So you've only looked ridiculous as a company for a day, really good start. But these people got access everywhere. And then, because there's no priority then, no one looks at it again. So a year down the line, that person's still got admin rights into accounts, into procurement, into whatever it might be. And so security is blasted away as an impact of shocking onboarding. And so it really does need to be, onboarding people need to look at it as one of the most important things. Recruitment is vital. But the recruitment firms, I think people like yourself, Mark, should be talking to firms saying, "You're taking this person on. This person is a quality person. I've just found you. Yeah, this is the right person for you. We've done the cultural due diligence. We've seen whether it fits perfectly. You liked him or her, vice versa." They're going to come in, make it a good start. Yeah, you've now got 8 weeks before the person starts. Make sure they've got a phone. Make sure they've got an email account. Make sure they've got their signature. Make sure their first day says, "Right, cultural induction at 10. 12 o'clock, we're going to take them out for lunch. 2 o'clock, we're going to do this. We're going to go through processes, go through ISO." And they're going to come home and they're going to say to their partner, their wife, whatever, "What a great day. This company's slick." And it makes your job even better, because they would then go back to you and say, "Mark, that's a great firm you put me in." Instead of, "Who is this shower that you just sent me to? They had nothing for me. I had to use my own phone. I had nothing." I mean, it's just, and 3 days later, I mean, people start work and they think, this is the start of my future. This is where I want to be. People don't tend to start a new company thinking, "I'll stay here for a few months, then find something better." They want there because they want this to be their future. So they want to join a company. So I think Nintex says 82%. Lost it now. But the keeping staff. What's the term I'm looking for? Retention. Staff retention. 82% better with a good induction. Yeah, and good onboarding processes. And
it's funny, Peter. Yeah, it's funny. I've how you brought it up. I'm actually going to be changing my go-to-market over the next sort of probably 6 weeks. I've been doing a lot of research on this myself. So I've been asking all the industry leaders about what they want from a recruitment company. And we've got a reputation as being as bad as estate agents. The estate agents in the business world. And what I wanted to sort of do is, yes, I recruit tech, I recruit marketing, I recruit salespeople. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I put them in with the best intention of them working out. But the honest answer is, I'm really hoping that I don't get that phone call in the first 3 months saying they haven't worked out. And I'm praying, because I'm just hoping that it's a bit like roulette. I'm hoping they're going to work out.
Yeah, of course.
And it's almost what you've come down to, sort of saying, me going back to that company and saying, "Look, I'm not just a recruitment company. I'm going to spin out to more being a talent development company, because what I want to be able to help you with is, it's not just hiring these people, it's the onboarding of them. Have you got that? The induction process, the retention, the attraction strategy in the first place. Once you've got them onboarded, how are you training these guys?
Yeah.
How are you getting leads for these guys on marketing? How are you actually training your experienced guys once they've actually been in the company for a bit?" And also offering a side part where I'm doing outsource HR. If they have got a problem, I can go to that for them. And also outsource NED work. So if they can speak to someone, who's really good and left say maybe like someone like yourself who wasn't working or started to do something else, they could actually do a video chat with them and say, "Look, this guy you can speak to once a month. He's been through it. He's done it. He'll be a sounding board, and he'll do a one-on-one chat." And I wanted to be like an end-to-end talent company, rather than just saying, "Here you go. hope they work out.
Yeah.
Don't call me in the first 3 months if they don't, because I think back. Because we've got no skin in the game, and we're just getting feet. We're not going to get phone calls saying how great we are if they've been working out, but we certainly get phone calls if they're not working out. And what I want to be able to do is go back to the company and say, look, here's the problem, Peter. Your onboarding was shocking. Your induction was shocking.
Or non-existent.
Or I've done an engagement salary for you, Peter, and they all don't like working there. And I think most people, most channel partners out there wouldn't mind that harsh feedback. They'd rather know so they can deal with the problem instead of just saying, oh, Mark, actually, your guy's rubbish. And it's almost like what the guy that I placed with you said was great, your panel said was great, you interviewed, we all thought he was great, now he's rubbish because he's been working for your company for 3 months. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. So I'm really pleased you said that. In your opinion, how can we get onboarding right? You mentioned a couple of things earlier, but what's the basics to get onboarding right?
Basics, make sure you get the technology right when they turn up. When I say technology right, they can come in, they've got their calendars up, they've got their emails, they've got their phone, they've got their access all correct. They've got all charts, they know who their bosses are. But I think
they turn up and don't even know they're working for.
Yeah. Well, one of the big gaming firms in Malta, and they were the one who phoned me up and said, we've got 3 people starting today who are in reception. We didn't even know they were coming. Yeah? Now, surely there should be an automatic link from your HR system through an API, through a system that everyone knows what's going on. But I think someone's calendar needs to be filled in the first week. Absolutely. So when they turn up, bang, you open it up, you log in. All you need to put on your signature is automatically put your mobile number. That's it. The rest of it's there. Bang, they think, God, this is good. Straight into the calendar, comes up and says, right, it's 10 o'clock now, because you start a bit late. Everyone likes that, don't they? 11 o'clock, you've got coaching induction with the MD or whatever it may be. And then that's an hour. And you're going to then 12 o'clock, boom, 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 lunch maybe the first day. We're going to show you around the area. We're going to get another couple of big sales guys, take you out for a little lunch, and we walk around Spitalfield Market, whatever it may be. But then the first week is not filled up totally where you can't do anything, but you've got something and they're thinking, God, this is really slick. This company are slick. I've met the main players. They've all given me the time. It was in their diary and mine. Yeah. And after the first week, you're going to go home Friday and say, tell you what, I've joined a company that I know I can make a difference and they're going to make a difference to me. I mean, it's not difficult. It really isn't.
I wish I had that organised at my firm, because normally what you've done is like they'll come in, oh, Mark, you're free. It's like, free for what? You've got to go to oh, can they go? And we're shuffling this person around like they're having dominoes. Like,
yeah. Or the last thing you want to do is say, tell you what, go and have a coffee for half an hour. Where shall I sit? Well, we haven't got you a desk. Go and sit at reception. That'd be a good place. Or pop down to Costa. There's a nice Costa. And then you find somebody in the office who doesn't do a lot. Can you take them to Costa? I mean, you see it, and it's shocking and totally not needed. You so don't need it. It just needs structure. You need a policy on how you do it. Now, we've got the development side. We've put these onboarding systems into clients, but on the technical side. So it links into HR, it links into job roles, and it does the AD. But also on the other end of things, when people leave and the regulators come in and have a look and they say, has that person still got access into your accounts? He left 2 years ago. And that should all be automatic. Yeah. And so it goes at the other end as well. So the onboarding is absolutely vital, but you should have it linked all the way through. You really should. But I mean, it is. We had a call from a guy who worked at, I won't say it, it's one of our clients, and he went to a partner actually. He phoned me that afternoon and said, Pete, can I come and join you instead? I said, well, I haven't really got a place for you, mate. And I said, what's so wrong? He said, no one's spoken to me yet. I'm just texting in reception. And so he lasted about 3 weeks.
Do you know what? It's interesting though, isn't it? I'll turn up at 10 o'clock. Yeah. Oh God, the bloke's here now. Oh, what do we do then? Oh, like, yeah, send him to Costa. And then at 4 o'clock, it's like, oh, we're finished for the day now. And you're so, so pleased they've gone home because you can do some work. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Brilliant.
It is
People
ridiculous.
want to be successful. They want to know what success is. They want to understand it, and they want to feel that culture across the business. Give them the time, get it in their diary, get it in their calendar, and don't let anybody in the business think, I can drop this one because it's only a new starter. Totally wrong. You've got to get that new starter has got to be shown that she is important, because whatever job role you've got, you're important. You don't get a job because there's nothing to do. People employ you because it's an important role. You don't think, I've got a role that's rubbish. I'll tell you what, I'll fill it up with someone for 30 grand. Yeah, it's not required. No, it's important. Whether they're in administration, receptionist, the top sales guy, technical, it doesn't matter what they are. They're an important cog to your business. So,
yeah, and do you know what? I'm really glad you said that, because, you know, whilst, you know, recruitment agencies, they have got to do due diligence, you know, and there are some, you know, I'll say in my industry, there are some sharks out there. Of course, they are in all industries.
In all industries.
But what I will say is, if I'm working with a client and, you know, they're coming back to me and saying, oh yeah, your man hasn't worked out, or your candidate hasn't worked out, or whatever it is.
The quick one, Mark. I've got a bit of trepidation now. There's a guy just turned up because he's a delivery guy, and I'm just wondering, I think my wife's doing a workout in the garden with the kids. So I'm going to have to answer this while carry on talking, Mark. I apologise. You're talking about.
That's fine. That's fine. So, what's really interesting is, yeah. So I'll give them the feedback, and the feedback normally is something from the candidate around either in the induction, the onboarding, or people weren't speaking to them. And of course, they don't really want to hear it, but, you know, it's almost like a, you know, negative connotation. They're thinking, oh, actually, why are you telling me this? It's like, I'm telling them because I actually want them to correct it. It's not for me just to have a go at them. I actually want to say to them, say, look, if you don't fix this problem for you, it's going to be a recurring problem. You want us to get another person for you. You don't want to keep them doing these recruitment fees. It's not good for you. It's not good for us. So it's really, really interesting.
And that's a personality trait now that we're seeing. Thanks very much, Jess. But we're seeing a lot, and it's because that's old school and new school, if new school exists as a term. Some people really happy with feedback. Feedback's actually the biggest thing you can get. What's the difference between feedback and criticism? It's how you take it. Yeah. If someone says to you, Mark, oh, you're brilliant, you're brilliant, you're brilliant, what are you going to learn from that? You can just get, you know, feel a bit Donald Trump. You're the best in the world. Yeah. But if people said to you, yeah, you do some good stuff, but if you did this a bit better, if you say to them, oh, I'm not to listen to that, what does he know? I know better than him. I'm a recruiter because that's my business. You're not going to learn anything. And so feedback is golden, really is. It's what it's about. And so criticism doesn't really exist. It can exist if it's on a peer level to an extent. Or maybe you talk, but if you're talking up to management, somebody maybe higher than you, and you say, and then it's absolute feedback. I don't like this. Aspects. Absolutely. If you don't take it, then how are you going to progress? How are you going to get better if only thing you like is good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about, Pete, was credit lines. And what I mean by that is I'm seeing a lot of record months from partners. We're doing really, really well, and laptops have gone through the roof, and now the transactional players, the people that haven't got annuity business, or the SaaS, the people that haven't got the monthly recurring revenue business, in the coming months, are they going to start struggling, or are they going to start seeing credit lines maybe pulled?
I have a fear that we could see credit crunch 2.0 in the industry. There's, I mean, you look at the partners, and I know a lot of the partners have been around far too long. There's some that do brilliantly well. They've got great annuity business. They can just carry on, and they might have to furlough a few people who maybe, like, we've furloughed a guy who does new business, because I think it's abhorrent to start to try to phone people up cold calling. I think it's wrong during this time. You're invading on their house as well. Although it's in their business, I appreciate it, but you invade. So I think the companies that are just either ones that at the end of the year take all the profit out, because that's fine. There's no point, nothing wrong with that. Some people do that, so their cash flow's never great, but all the profits being taken out every year, and they are transactional. really transactional and they're new business. What's happened to these businesses? And people like the big distribution partners, the Ingrams, the West Coasts, the tech datas, they'll be thinking about this. They'll be thinking, my word, I've given these people quite a lot of credit here. They're sitting on $1 million, $2 million. Am I going to get this back? Because they haven't got a balance sheet. They haven't got a lot of cash. They take it out every year. And I'm going to now start to worry. So as soon as somebody comes up to from these partners, they've got a big deal on the go or whatever, so need to increase it, it's then they'll be looking at their credit lines. I've been talking to Eddie Pacey, who was at Ideal Hardware, one of the industry stalwarts, and he's always been credit. And he said it's a real concern and people need to really look at it. And so as soon as one or two might go by the wayside, then I think you'll see the likes of Tech Data, West Coast especially, those two, because they deal with a lot of transactional. The likes of Arrow deal with the big enterprise more. As soon as they start slapping down on credit or pulling it from end of month to 30 days, there could be a real issue. So I think as a partner, you should be talking to your clients because you should know them really well. Say, look, during these periods, we're going to pay our suppliers on 30 days. We expect you to pay 30 days. Don't drift it out. Don't send us a check to the office that we can't find, because no one's in the office. Yeah. Well, as you know, Mark, that's actually happened to us. We just,
I don't know. I won't say who it was. Brilliant. Yeah, where have you sent it? I've sent a check to the office. Oh, brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see. So far, we've not seen people closing down yet, or going to the wall and leaving debt in the disties. As soon as that starts to happen, which I think it will do sooner rather than later, then we're going to see a credit issue within the industry. Now, it might only be for certain partners, and that will then make it even worse for them. People who have been on the edge, because when you're setting up a business is 1, 2 years, 3 years old, or even older. Sometimes you haven't built up a big pot of money. And so you're working hand to mouth. And as soon as that credit starts to choke down, you're in a panic mode and it gets really difficult. And people can sniff panic. People can smell it. And so I think we could start to see that in the next month. The back end of May, we're going to start to see some of the accounts being pulled on the credit side, or at least reduced. And that could have a real impact. But moving on from that, the vultures will be out there, and I understand it. There'll be companies there that might struggle to survive in our industry. Someone's going to go and nick them. When I say nick them, say, well, you're really struggling here, so we're going to keep you going. We're going to take you for X instead of Y. I'm going to pay X for you, and you haven't got a choice. And so there will be vultures swinging out there, and I don't blame them either.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I
can see that, and I think you're right. Well, I think you're right. I think, unfortunately, as well, it is. I don't see there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just business. And obviously, no one's predicting the crisis. No, I certainly don't want to see any firm or channel firm go down. But I can see if something doesn't happen certainly in the next 8 weeks, unless we suddenly spike out of this quite quickly. Yeah, I see by the end of May going into June that there's going to be a lot of potential. I don't know as much as you, but the credit lines, I could look at, if I was one of those sort of disties, I'd be thinking, actually, giving them access to £1 million credit, I don't know if that's a good idea now. And hopefully it won't happen. Hopefully the demand will come. But so my last question, and I've sort of asked this to everyone, and I know you're not a world health expert, but in your opinion, Peter, when do you think we'll sort of come out of this, or when do you think we'll be allowed to actually go down the pub or something?
I don't think the pub until after Christmas.
What?
I don't think so. They might start opening pubs, but I think seating only. So you can't stand up. Yeah. So you go there, they look full. So you've just got your own booth and your own tables. I don't think they'll allow standing in pubs for a year. Yeah. There's two answers. This one's for Malta, one's for the UK. Yeah, I think the schools will go back, junior schools, and maybe year 10s in the seniors. I think after half term.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
but maybe that's just what I'm hoping. Yeah.
That sounds brilliant, because my team in the background now, they're going to be, there's going to be a WWE match in a minute. So
Yeah. So I'm hoping, and I can see that. But I think the senior schools will remain shut apart for year 10, because that's a big year for them following on to the exams next year. Because that's a short year next year for them. They're really only doing lessons until Christmas just after, and then it's revision. So I think we might see that. Malta will be different. Malta's not allowing people in and out of the islands, so you can't get in and out of the airport. I think they're going to open up. They've only had 3 deaths. Yeah, they shut down. The islanders, very risk averse, shut down. They shut the schools down, but nobody would go to schools for 2 weeks previous, because the parents took them all out. So when the government announced, we're shutting the schools, there's nobody in them. So it's a sort of a worthless announcement. So they've been shut down for longer than us. No one's going in and out. I think they're going to open up, but only for internal people, because nobody else is there. So their bars and their restaurants and things like that will open up. The shops will open up, but people won't be able to come in and out. So they're containing it that way. But in the UK, I mean, I'm not an expert, so your guess is as good as mine, so is my 9-year-old. But there you go. So pubs won't be open for Christmas, I don't think. But maybe.
That's
I know.
that is not what I want to. That is not what I want to hear at all. But
when we go back to the office, which would be earlier, we'll be then having the pub in the office. You know, sort of 4 o'clock on a Friday, beers come out of the fridge and stuff like that. Because I don't. What else can you do? Well, I had to go to the office on Friday. Yeah, I've not been to the office in London to collect a cheque for. Well, it was a lot of money, and they'd sent a cheque in. Who sends cheques nowadays? And but I said to my wife, I phoned my wife up and said, I'll go for a drink after. She goes, "Oh, come! I thought you'd come home." I said, "Well, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go?" But we'll see. When do you reckon we're going to come out there, Mark?
Oh, do you know what? You actually put me off now, because I actually thought the pubs would be open in about June, July. But I think, my opinion is, I don't think UK PLC will be able to cope unless we go stagger back to work in 3 weeks' time. I just can't see it. You know, if we don't go back after 3 weeks or staggered back, and I know there's the balance of it. It could we go back before it starts again, and all this sort of stuff. You know, I said I'm not really into politics. I don't really follow it, but I am following this crisis. I'm worried that the economy is just going to cause more casualties itself. You know, mental health, anxiety, suicide rates. You know, if people are just throwing themselves in front of trains all the time, and that's more than the COVID crisis. It's a real challenge. The cure is worse than the problem.
Yeah.
And I think we need to go back in May, in the middle of May onwards, and yes, staggered back, yes, social distancing, but something's got to happen, because it's going to be a tsunami of problems otherwise. I really do. So, that's my guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think the lockdown after 3 weeks they'll start staggering people back or letting them out. Which I know there's a lot of people out there won't like that, but I just think, what is worse, that, you know, I could see, if it doesn't happen, the casualties of suicide and you know, can you imagine if suicide's got worse than actual COVID?
Yeah.
You know, there's a real balance in that. You know?
I'm actually so with you on this. I really am. So, I mean, for us, we've got a house, we've got gardens, kids can play outside. We're the lucky ones. Could you imagine living in, I don't know, Govan or Easterhouse in the back end of Glasgow, and you've got 4 kids, you're a single parent, and they can't go out of their 6th floor flat? I mean, the domestic abuse that must be, people who, it must be horrific. And so this is why I had a row with a guy the other day, actually, with his family member, and he was moaning about the kids on the street. And he doesn't live in a particularly great area, actually. I said, I don't judge. I said, you might have the mother there sending the kids out for their own safety. So don't judge until you know what goes on in people's houses. I said, because this is crippling for some families. They've got no money. That brings stress. That brings stress and frustration in the household. If it was already bad and no money, I'm totally with you here, Mark. Totally with you. We need to get back. I'm not saying we all flood back in today. It's got to be managed,
No.
otherwise we can't cope. But yeah, it's
because the domestic abuse, their sentence gone up by 80% of the phone calls, but the people can't get out to get a break. And I don't know if you saw the thing that they were saying that when if someone gets caught out, they can actually say the reason they've gone out is because they've got an argument with their partner, so almost to give a break. So I think I said it's really difficult. It's a horrible situation for everyone to be in, but I'm hoping that there's a real balancing act to think, yes, COVID is terrible and people are lives, and it's tragic, and loved ones, and it's affected us, everyone. But if the economy goes absolutely to the wall, there's going to be deaths from that, of domestic abuse, suicide, mental health, people. That's going to just be a catastrophe. So hopefully that. But Pete, look, lovely to speak to you. You've been a great guest, and you'll show up here next week.
Yeah, Marc. Yeah, all right then, Marc. Enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend.
Thanks for joining us and listening to another episode of our Channel Chat podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard and are listening on iTunes, please could you give us a review and subscribe in order to get the newest episodes as soon as they're released. Otherwise, as always, we release an episode every Thursday at midday, so hopefully you can join us then.